Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening or good night. This is Jen at JensArtyInclinations, a place to create, share and play.
Hello again, everyone. So I'm grabbing I did up myself a box book for all my DEPHEMEREMBER stuff. I decided that I needed a bit more storage for all my scrap papers, and also as I was gathering materials for each little day's project. So, almost halfway through and I'm finally getting organised. But yeah, I did this little book from paper shopping bags, added some note pages in there. I've got some pockets in the front and back. And of course, I'm realising, yes, I'm using that for today's prompts as well. And then I've got, if you have a look, if you open it up, each of these become a pocket. So you can have a video to see how I make these really quickly from shopping bags. I don't actually do the Bayo box, but that's how, of course, you should do them. But yeah, all different things, a little material pouch. And I even use this when I'm doing fussy cutting, and I can use one of them as a little scrap box. And then, yeah, more little pockets in the back. So a bit of fun, bit more storage. As I said, finally feeling organised. So I've now got my binder and my DEPHEMEREMBER box book, all happy. Anyway, we are doing mushroom robots today. Links for Luise Heinzl and Barbara 49 Dragonflies are below for DEPHEMEREMBER. And today, as I said, the prompt is robot mushrooms or mushrooms robot. So I've kind of gone with robotic mushrooms. And all these little mushrooms, again, are different kind of drawings that I've done, and I'd already doodled all over them. So to me, that gave a little bit of a mushroom feel. Now, you'll see a lot of mistakes that I do in this because I'm doing a pop-up. So I wanted to have a flip inside as a little note page, and I thought I was so clever. I've gone over my little embossed pieces with wax, and I've gone all ahead of myself. I've popped little backgrounds. These are the free digis that we got from Barbara and Luise. And I'm doing, as I said, a pop-up. Now, there are these robots that pick mushrooms. So they're these big robot arms. So I've gone with that. And mine, I decided that it would be like a flower, and it's a swing arm mechanism. So to do that, you do a little box. So here I'm measuring the shorter side of the box so that I know where to stick it down. So then I stick down one flap, and then it sticks down nice and flat whenever you're doing any kind of a box shape. And it's got that little inverted triangle in the corner of the box there. So I have to use masking tape because I waxed the embossing piece, so therefore it's harder to make things stick to it. But look, it's all good. And then I also had, anyway, you'll see all my mistakes as we go through. So then I'm sticking down the other side of the mechanism. So the left-hand side of that box is ever so slightly shorter, so that's why I had to measure it. And as I say, a little inverted triangle in the top, and then it folds in on itself. So folding it just to make sure it presses down. I'm not great at these pop-ups. It took me ages to work out exactly what I was doing, and I had to do a bit of a prototype, which they suggest to do in pop-ups. So that's why I'm not doing a great explanation, because I had so many little false starts backwards and forwards. However, this is how I stick in the arm. And so because it folds in on itself, that's how it comes down. And then I did a little box for the mushrooms underneath it. Now, I should have done a longer box. So that's my first mistake. However, it works. But see, I'm measuring the left side, flip it around, and then stick it down. And you stick it down flat on the little tabs underneath. So, very, very carefully sticking it down. Gosh, I can hear a truck backing outside. And then sticking down the other side, and then these will pop up. So I'm just making sure the mechanism goes in properly, and as you can see, that's how they work. So I'll just bring it back out, making sure it's a nice fold, and that's how the arm swings down. So now that I understand it, I should be able to do some more, and I'm going to keep playing with this mechanism. Lots of fun. Now, you can see on the left a little bit of white on the embossing there. That's because I did glue my note page on that as I first intended, and then I realised it would be too hard to write on because of the pop-up that's behind it is all nice and bulky. So I put it to the right of the other side. These are my mushrooms. I accidentally turned my camera off, and so these are my mushrooms. What I did was I did little hole punches in the mushrooms, and I added little brads or split pins to them and made them look mechanical. Now, I didn't think anything kind of worked together, so I went to town with black and white gesso all over the background. And even though I'd gone to the trouble of waxing that embossed piece, it really didn't work. It was all just this busy mess. So I added black underneath, kind of for shadow. And there you are. That's the mushroom looking, that's the arm, robotic arm, looking like it's going down to pick up mushrooms. Added some mushrooms in the corners, had to add lots of gesso over those beautiful backgrounds to make them work. I used one of those Stabilo, like watercolour graphite kind of pencils to add shadows in the mushrooms to make them pop. Then I mixed some black and white gesso. Truly, it took me ages to make it work. I think, make it work in the end. But initially, it just was this jumbled mess and you couldn't see my lovely arm. I put some blue wax over it to add a little bit of contrast again. Look, it really is. I just kept building, kept layering until I felt like in the end it worked. So I do love it. I wish I sort of, had started all over again, but I didn't have a whole heap of mushrooms again. But I think it works in the end. So then what I did was I quickly added a cover and again used those same beautiful images, just some extra ones that I had cut off, and I did one and then a second one of the same page edge at a jaunty angle, just to make it look a little something something. And then I thought, I'm not quite happy, so what did I do in the end? I added some numbers. So firstly, I'm sticking it down, and I did make underneath this as a pocket. That's why it's got that little thumb hole sticking out of it. I haven't made anything to stuff in that pocket. I'm sure on one of the other days I'll think of something. But folks, I spent hours making mistakes doing this. It doesn't look like I spent hours, but I did. But it's still lots of fun. I would never have thought of putting robot and mushroom together. Initially I was going to do a little robot where the mushroom cap kind of lifted up and you saw all the robotic mechanisms inside. Oh yeah, I hole punched some of the tops of the mushrooms out as well, or circle punched, as you can see there, just to the left. But yeah, adding some numbers in the end, and I think it came together. And in fact, I think it's really fun what I ended up with. So I am happy with how it worked out in the end, even though, I was really unsure for a while there. I still didn't think the arm looked like it was picking up mushrooms, and I didn't want to do another one to make the mushrooms lift from the bottom, so I just popped a mushroom underneath the arm. So a little flower arm is picking up the mushrooms, and there you are. That is the finished piece. It does work, it does swing. I'm happy, and I think I met the prompt, and yeah, in the end I think it turned out well. So there you are, the next day of DEPHEMEREMBER, all done. See you next week. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, keep creating. Enjoy!